Time now for Inside Utah Politics.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Glenn Mills. It is time to go inside Utah politics. We do begin this morning with a post-election look at ranked choice voting. Rebecca Chavez-Hauk is a board member with Utah Ranked Choice Voting. Welcome back to the show. Glad to have you with us.
Thanks, Glenn. Good to be here.
We had you on before to kind of talk about how it would work and how things were expected to play out. So let's break it down now that we know exactly how it played out. But before we get to that, start with some background on ranked choice voting. How did we get to this point where so many municipalities put it to the test this time around?
Well, it's been a multiple-year process of encouraging cities to consider implementing ranked choice voting. For those of us who like to be able to provide this option for Utah voters, it's been about two things. One, to see if there are consensus candidates that can make it through the election, where you've got the majority of people in a community, in an area, district, or a city that are supporting the person that actually wins. That's what ranked choice voting provides, that the majority, the person with the most votes wins. The other thing too is, sometimes people like one or two candidates and it's very hard for them to decide between one or two candidates who they like best. They may like someone, but they would be comfortable with another individual winning that election. And so that's what ranked choice voting provides, is it provides people a choice. We've heard a lot of people in the past say, my vote doesn't count. And this is one process by which we are hoping that voters feel that their votes do count.
And we certainly saw that play out where, maybe someone's later choice down the ballot became a top choice, especially in Sandy City where the mayor's race was so close.
Right.
You worked on this as a lawmaker. I know you and your other colleagues did as well. There's a picture of the new mayor of Sandy. She won by 21 votes, by the way. You and your colleagues worked on this as you were a state representative. So what's it like to see the work, the seeds you planted there now coming to this point?
Well, we're very happy with the results. You have 23 cities that tried it this year, and we didn't know how that was going to pan out. Rural and urban, large and small, all across the state, those 23 cities gave it a try. And for the most part, you found voters were happy with the experience. The elections officials felt that it went pretty smoothly, and so for a first try at it, the first try at it for these cities, we're pleased that with this many cities that it seemed to go off well.
Your organization actually did some polling. Talk about a couple of interesting data points. First, what did people say about how much they liked the process?
Well, you had a majority, 62% that said that they liked it, either they really liked it or they somewhat liked it. In terms of ease of use, which was one of the concerns that the clerks and others had about, will voters be able to understand what they're supposed to do or how this operates? Some 81% felt the instructions were either easy or very easy or somewhat easy. Nearly 90% felt that the instructions were somewhat, that were easy to follow, and then and most of them just really enjoyed the experience and would like to use it going forward.
Again, though, that's a poll that your organization did. We also have the Lieutenant Governor's Office, and my understanding is Sandy City also doing some survey work. We should see those probably, at least the state one, by mid-December. Do you expect to see anything different from those?
Well, there might be some variability. One thing that we noticed in the polling, for example, is 20% of Salt Lake City voters over and above, more than 20% than the other cities really liked ranked choice voting. But even with Sandy City, which was probably the one that wasn't as, that had a lower percentage of people that liked it, still 50% plus liked using ranked choice voting even in Sandy City. And so, I think it'll vary from city to city, but primarily in Salt Lake City, the voters enjoyed using ranked choice voting. They liked having the options.
County Clerk Sherry Swenson, she was not a big fan of ranked choice voting, but many municipalities within her county did do that. I checked with her prior to this segment just to get a feel for where she stood on it, and she mentioned to me a couple improvements that she would like to see. I'm just going to rattle those off real quick. One is she would like to see candidates limited to 3 to 5 in some way. The recount rules to be more clearly written. Again, we can turn to Sandy to kind of see how that played out. And then she also mentioned that if, for example, there were 7 candidates on a ballot and someone skipped a vote, so let's say they voted 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, she was not able to count the 5, 6, 7, and she would like to see that improved. So is that what the next step is? Do we kind of come to the table and learn from what people did and didn't like and then move forward?
Definitely. I mean, that's the great thing about this being a pilot project. It's why the bill was passed. The law was passed as a municipal pilot. It has a sunset of 2026, but it allows us these various municipal races every 2 years to try it. Hopefully we'll get more cities trying it out, and we learn from every single experience. We learn from every election as to what improvements need to be made on either whether it's the counting, whether it's additional information about informing voters how to rank their ballot, you know, reminding them that they don't have to rank their ballot if they don't want to. It's definitely a choice. So we are definitely open to exploring how we might improve ranked choice voting, the process, the counting recount issue. We defaulted to the recount code, which covers all elections, and so I think that we were able to get that situation in Sandy reconciled and taken care of. But we're always open to explore improvements on ranked choice voting processes and balloting and tabulation. But you know, that's why we did it as a pilot.
Yeah. Talk about how that will work. So you will meet as a board, talk about these things, work with the legislature to get these changes into law before the sunset, or would this be all something you'll continue to work through, I believe you said 2026, and then make changes?
Yeah, no, we're going to make changes as we see the need arising. Even last year, we made some changes to the original bill that established the municipal pilot project. And so last year we made some changes. Now that we've had these 23 cities experience it, and we've learned both from the clerks, the city recorders, and from voters, we're going to explore what improvements can be made upon that. And we're ready to make improvements along the line and not wait until the sunset, because as additional cities come on board, hopefully in another couple of years to try it, we want to make sure those improvements are there for them so that they can run the elections as efficiently as they possibly can.
And that makes all the sense in the world, no doubt about it. Okay, so 23 cities, that's the biggest chunk we've seen so far. We saw how it played out. What's the road ahead? Do you believe that this is the future of elections in the state of Utah?
Well, we want voters to have the choices and the prerogatives, and to eliminate as many barriers as possible to them feeling that their votes really count. So encouraging the cities that tried it this year to continue to do that. It's up to constituents and it's up to voters to express that to their city council members and their city officials, also to county officials, to make sure that they can facilitate implementing these elections going forward. And then for the cities that were hesitant this last round, we're hoping that they'll jump on board. The more cities we have try this and utilize ranked choice voting, the more better data that we get, the more that we can evaluate whether this is something that we use going forward, either in municipalities or in other elections.
So I had one race on my ballot that was a ranked choice voting race, and I liked it. I'll say that I didn't go through and rank all of them, but enough to where my vote for one could have gone off to another, and I enjoyed having it.
Great. Glad the experience was good for you, and glad it was for the majority of the folks that participated this year.
All right, Rebecca, always glad to have you on the show. Thanks for being here and providing us with that update.